So when we're looking at Facebook pages, let me go over to Facebook. And when we're looking at pages, there are some real critical components here. As I said, you have to have a page in order to advertise. At the bare minimum, you want to have a cover up here. That's this image that shows up at the top. I'm going to close that collaborator thing because that's not going to be on y'all's. So at the top, you have a Facebook cover. That cover image needs to reflect what your page is about. It could be an image of your studio. It could be an image of you painting in the studio. It could be a painting itself. It could be the thing you're currently promoting. I need to change mine out. It's a little dated. That was an earlier promotion. To create it, there's a really nifty tool out there that I want everybody, if you're not using it already, let me switch around here. You can use the free version. It makes it easy to create those Facebook covers. And that's Canva. So not everybody has Photoshop. Not everybody is a graphic designer. But you don't have to be if you use something like Canva. Canva has a free version. And you can create your Facebook cover in Canva. So if I tell it what I want to make, it has templates for it. Here's a Facebook cover. And then I can even use one of the templates they already have and substitute my own image and my own copy for it. Or I can just make up my own. So if I use their layout and their text that's already on here, I can upload my own photo and I can stretch it to fit. And position it so the text is all going to show. And you can give it your name, or if you have a slogan. And I'm going to put a website on there. And how long did it take me to do that? About a minute. Be sure to save it. And it will download it in the correct size. Once it's downloaded, then all I have to do to change that cover is upload the image that I just created. And why did it just do that? It all moved over where I couldn't see it. Sorry about that. It's doing something weird here. And I see a question coming in. I'll grab that in just a second. So upload it. And it positions it. One of the things to watch for with a Facebook cover is that you want any text on it to be in the center. And that's one reason to use one of their templates, because the template will have the text already positioned for you. So Jack, let's see, whose question was that? Teresa says, how much text does Facebook allow on a cover image? I don't think you really need to worry about that too much. Facebook used to have a rule that you could only have 20% text on an image. And that sort of applied to covers as well. They've thrown that rule out. Now they give greater reach to images that don't have more than 20% text on there. One reason not to have more than 20% is that it's not going to be viewed on mobile. So you're trying to make your image mobile friendly. And if you're using one of Canva's templates, it's going to be more mobile friendly. So that's why to go that way. Yeah, Kim, Canva is awesome. It is fast. And I'm a graphic designer. That's one of my backgrounds. And I can use Photoshop, do use it every day, all day long. But Canva still has a place for me because it's so fast. They have all those templates that are already sized, so I can pop in there and in a minute create something new that would have taken me a good 10-15 minutes to wrestle with in Photoshop. So it's very, very much what I enjoy using it. So the site, Jacqueline, is Canva. I'm going to type it here into the chat roll here. It's canva.com. And they do have both paid and free versions. The free version is fine for almost everything that you're going to need right now. So create it, upload it, one and done. Then the next thing that you want to make sure that you have on here is your button. So Facebook gives you the option to include a button. I would suggest the Learn More button. And there are all sorts of other buttons that you can choose from. They have a book with you, contact you, learn more about your business, shop with you, download your app, join your community. Decide which one is the most important for you right now, and then you can switch them around so you have a chance to change things up. Don't feel like you're going to be stuck with it. Another thing that is important is the About page, because people want to get a little bit more info about you. The things that are most important are to fill out the contact info. Here you want to fill out the category and pick artist. Put your name in there. Your username is the address right here on the page. They'll give you just a page number, but you want to use a name, assign a name to it so you have a handle. Don't put the periods in there. I did that years ago and it works without the periods. I don't know why I did that. It was 10 years ago and I was stupid. So don't do that. But just give it your name, say Mary, your name, art, your name, studio. Just be consistent. Use the same one that you use on Instagram. And that becomes what they call your handle. And people can tag you with that. So it gets to be a useful piece of information. Put your website up here and your email address. You can also include your Instagram handle if you want to. I would recommend that you do that. Then they're getting rid of personal interests, so I would not worry about that. They're eliminating that for whatever reason. And they change and add things all the time, like the business details and start date. They've added that more recently. That's why it's not filled out on mine. So you can include the bio and you can include that personal information. As much of that as you can fill out, that's better. Kim says, do you have a Google number? I've not put my phone number in yet. Yes, I do. That is my Google number. And I put that in so that I have a filter between me and my public persona. So I don't ever put my personal phone number out there. Do not put your cell phone number on your Facebook page. Do not put your home landline on your Facebook or Instagram page. Get a Google Voice number and use that instead. I'm not sure if it's still free, but it was when I got it. It's free to have it. And people can call you and leave voicemail messages and texts on there. So it's a really useful thing to have. If you make calls, you get charged long distance or get charged by the minute. But if somebody calls you, they're not going to get charged, and neither will you. So it's a really good filtering system. And you want to have a number on there just so it makes it easier for people to contact you and there's less friction between you and possible contacts. But you don't want your home phone number on there because you don't want the weirdos to find you. Keep a little bit of a filter up there. A new feature that they started is the brand story. And that can be a video or it can be a text document that's a little bit more of a personal extended about page. Now, when you're doing your about, don't do a resume. People don't want to read resumes. People don't come to Facebook to read resumes. People come to Facebook to be entertained, to be educated, to be uplifted. And resumes don't do that. So keep it really broad and keep it simple. This could be your origin story. And we talk about that in both of the courses, that you've got an origin story, your heroic journey. That could be what goes right here. And like I said, it could be video, it could be a slideshow, it could be all kinds of different things, but you can edit that right in that spot. And I would go on and get that done. That's on my to-do list. If you have team members who help manage your page, you can add them right there, and that becomes public. People can see it. Those are the main things that you want to have on there. The other two things that Facebook is starting to give more attention to are events and groups. And that, using those effectively, can lower your ad costs. So when we're thinking about events, we have insights on them. Events can be if you're going to have an exhibition. Events can be if you're going to do a Facebook Live. Events can be anything that you make public that other people can attend, either virtually or in person. The more you use them, the better off you're going to be. So it's a really good idea to use events, and they're giving some more tools now to be able to track what happens on events, like these new event insights. Then you can also link your groups if you, in the event, you have groups. So if you're going to teach a program, if you have workshops, you might want to create groups around that. And that's one way to begin building community, and that can be linked to your Facebook page. Then we have the Ad Center, which is where most of y'all would probably be going for looking for beginning to get info on how to set up your ads. Mine is through a little bit different avenue. You can also find your ads manager on the home page. So if you go to Explore and Ads Manager, that's how most of y'all will get into your Ads Manager. And that's what we're really going to be focusing on a good deal tomorrow. We're going to look at it a little bit later today, but that's where we'll be focusing on it tomorrow. So your Ads Manager is where you actually set up your ads for both Facebook and for Instagram. So let me go back to the Facebook page. Come on, Facebook, catch up with me. There we go. You can actually, I think I forgot to save that. You can actually follow along a feed, a timeline on your page, just like you do on your profile. Very few people actually do that. People can post to your page. I would set it so that you have to approve that, because what you don't want to do is have people randomly post to your page. So under settings, make sure that you set it so that people can't post directly to your page without approval. You don't want people basically running their own ads on your Facebook page as you begin to build reach and an audience. So be careful with that. Over here on the left-hand side, there are a number of different tabs, and they show up a little bit differently on mobile. But on desktop, there are these different tabs over here. They now give us themes for Facebook pages that or layouts for Facebook pages that you can choose from. And I'm using the video creator theme because I do a lot of videos. And so my tabs will be a little bit different than yours might be, depending on what theme you choose to use. I wouldn't overthink the theme right now. Just get your page up if you haven't done that already. Most of these will automatically appear, and you might have one or more less or in a different position than I have them on here. So I do a lot of Facebook Live, so there's a live video tab there. People can click and go straight to videos, and view your videos, almost like a YouTube channel. And that's a good thing. Then you can also check posts and photos. Down here, I have the groups tab because I have a lot of my groups linked to my page. And people can scroll through that, and sometimes people will click on them even if they're not part of a closed group already or a course. But here's the free group that they can choose to belong to or reach out to. I have a subscribe button because I set that up a long time ago. And Teresa asked me about this a while back, that it was hard to or impossible to set up a subscribe tab if you had switched to the Business Manager. So on Facebook with Ads Manager, there's the regular Ads Manager account that you get as soon as you set up a Facebook page. And then there's the Business Manager if you do more extensive advertising with them. And I've got the Business Manager. Teresa has the Business Manager. You don't need to worry about this yet if you're not at that point yet. But I would set up, if you're worried about having a subscribe tab, I don't think I get very many subscribers from that. I don't think anybody does. But if you want to set one up, set it up before you get too far down the road. And you can link it to your email service provider. Your events tab, your community is where you can see who your top fans are. So you can actually see who is commenting the most. You can see who is most responsive. And you can, if they become responsive in a negative way, you can ban them. Now, I have badges enabled, so that means that they can actually see that they have a little badge next to their name. And it's a way to reward people and kind of gamify the whole thing. Facebook started adding those in the past year. So you can see who your fans are there. It's really just info right there, and other people can see it as well. Any questions so far on the Facebook pages? One of the things I want you to remember is not to put a cover up there and just leave it forever. You need to change that periodically and refresh it so that people see something new, and it's a chance to promote things through the change in the cover. The cover can be a video, it can be an image, but you can use that as kind of a free advertising space. And you can see where I did that right here with the Summer Greens collection. Oh, Lisa, yeah, you're going to get a replay of this later. It's recording right now, and it's going to go into the portal. So it'll be recorded. No worries about that. So you may want to go through it a couple of times to make sure you don't miss anything. So I will go a little fast, and I don't want people to get lost. So feel free to go back through it. It'll probably take me 24 hours to get it up there. I may go a little faster than that, depends, but it'll take a while to upload because we're going for 3 hours there. So get this created and change it often. You can actually view the page as a visitor so that you can see how people would see it. Get an idea of what it looks like to somebody who's just scrolling by. How are they going to be able to view it? So that's just an quick overview of the page. If you don't have one set up yet, get it set up so that you can get started on posting on it. Really, really super important part of it. I don't think anybody can really succeed by just running ads. You really do need to engage in order to build a good audience. So next, let me wake up my iPad again. We're going to go to Insights, I think, is next on my list. And nope, setting up the pixel. I knew there was something I needed to do in between there. So let's look at the pixel. And to do that, I'm going to need to go to my Business Manager. So within my ads manager, and within your ads manager, there's a little piece of code that you can get and copy onto your website called the Facebook Pixel. All it is just a little tiny bit of HTML code, CSS code, computer code. And what it does is it creates a cookie that then tracks by a Facebook ID. So it collects information, and then that information appears in your ads manager. What it does not collect is it doesn't collect names, it doesn't collect addresses, and it doesn't collect phone numbers. It doesn't collect any of the personal information. It's all by ID. So you're collecting info about your audience, but at an anonymous level. So you're able to track how people engage with your page, with your ads, and with your website, with your sales pages, with all kinds of different things. So you need to have that set up. It doesn't mean you have to do it yourself. So I know a bunch of you, because I've really recommended it strongly, a bunch of you have FASO for your website. FASO will install the Facebook Pixel for you if you find it overwhelming to do. So if it confuses the whatever out of you, then put in a support ticket with FASO and they'll put it in for you. That's one of the reasons to use FASO, is they have that fantastic support. And you get your Facebook Pixel by going up here to All Tools, and make sure I'm going to the right place. I'm going to tell you the wrong thing right away because I did not pull that up beforehand, which is what I meant to do. It should be under audiences. It may not be. I knew I was going to do that to myself. There we go. So you go to Analytics, and here is my pixel. And you can copy your pixel and then install it on your page. So here we get all kind of analytics. Because I have it hooked up to my shopping cart as well. And we can see all kinds of data. I can see where people have come from, where they're going to, all that kind of information. I'm going to go to the wrong place. Let me get back here. So you get your pixel from within your dashboard, and you get that little piece of code, and then you install it on your website. So let me hop off here for just a second, and then we'll grab the pixel code, because I'm trying not to go too far into my dashboard there. Oops, going to the wrong place. Sorry there. Hang tight for just a second. So you want to go to the Events Manager. Let me share the screen again. Go to All Tools, and you'll see Events Manager right here. An event is when that pixel fires. So anytime the pixel fires, it's an event. So when you scroll through the Event Manager, you'll see the different apps that I've already created. You'll see where you can get started. Just click that Get Started button, and you'll create a Facebook pixel. Now, I've already created mine, so I can't go through that again. So what you would do is create the Facebook pixel, give it a name. Give it a name you'll remember, like your name is Pixel. Then the website URL is your website. So enter your website right there. You can have more than one pixel if you're in the Business Manager, but I would not do that because it gets too complicated. Then click the Create button, and that will add the pixel to your account. Then you're going to grab the pixel code. These are for all the different pages that I have because I've created multiple pages. Then you're going to grab the pixel code and go over to your website. So let's stop that and head over to the next step. So when you create it, it's going to give you the code. You'll be able to copy the code after you create that pixel. And you're going to just copy it. It's just a little tiny bit of code. And then you're going to go to your website, and I'm going to go to the back end of mine. Oops, I forgot to share the screen again. I needed to not have stopped it. Sorry about that. Go back to your website if you've got WordPress. And it doesn't really matter which theme you're using. Oh, went to the old one. The code goes into the header. And when you are in WordPress, and you don't have to do this if you're in FASO. FASO can do this for you. I'm going to go to the theme options, and it's an integration, and you have the option to add it here in the theme. So you're not adding it to each page. You don't have to manually go to every page on your website and add that little snippet of code. It'll do it automatically if you add it here in the theme options. So I use Divi. I know a bunch of y'all use Divi. But any theme, almost any theme, is going to have the option for you to integrate like this right there in the theme. And here you can see my pixel. So you can see it's just a little bit of code, and it doesn't even go on very far. It goes just a little ways down. I've actually got two things in here. I've got deadline funnel in here as well. So that's not even the whole thing. The Facebook pixel ends right here. Just a tiny little bit of code. So once you copy it in there so that it goes to the head of your blog, the header section, you don't see it on the actual page, then you can click Save and close that page. And we can go back to the site. There's a little tool that you can get for the Chrome browser that checks pixels. Right up here you can see it. And yes, I know I have 49 tabs open, Teresa. I always do that. So up here is the Facebook Pixel Helper. And it can check to see how many pixels are on that site. It can check. And it says it's got 1 pixel from me, one of the Facebook pixel. So I can see what's on there and make sure that it's firing and working as people visit it. So you want to install the Facebook pixel, and all it is copying and pasting. That's all you got to do. If you're on FASO, you're going to copy and paste that for them, and they'll put it in. They'll walk you through it, so you don't have to do it. Not anything super fancy. Once you do that, then you'll get info on how successful your ads are. And you'll also be able to tell how effective that customer journey is that you're creating, going all the way from those first initial awareness stages back to the sales stage. So if you do what I do and have your shopping cart hooked up to it, you can see how much even your ads are costing you long term. And you can see your long-time customer value over time. So it's a really good thing to hook up that Facebook pixel. You can run ads without it, but they're not going to be super effective. So don't avoid it just because it's techie. Go on and install it. Get it installed. It's just a copy and paste. So I'm on a show of hands from the people who've already got the pixel installed on their websites. So if you've already put the pixel in, type yes in the comments. So hands up if you've already done the pixel, type yes in the comments. If you haven't, I don't want you to procrastinate on it. I want you to get it done. It's not that hard to do. You're just going to go to the Events Manager, create the pixel. It'll develop the pixel code for you, and then you can put it in. So Teresa says, I use the add headers and footers WordPress plugin. Yeah, it does the same thing as the adding it in the DV integration. So there are all kind of different ways to do the same thing. It's super easy to use. So how many people have not done that Facebook pixel yet? I'm getting a feeling there are multiple people on here who have not done their Facebook pixel. Not you yet, Kim. I know you use DV, so I want you to create it and to add it to the theme. So is everybody clear on how to do it? So let's walk through that one more time. In order to do it, you're going to go simply to the Events Manager here in Facebook. And then you're going to click the Get Started tab here and create the code. Then you're going to paste it into the header section on your website. That's all there is to it. Yeah, now I see some of y'all are waiting. Don't wait too long. I want you to get that website up. I mean, you can run ads without a website. You can sell without a website. But I don't want y'all to wait too long on websites. Don't wait for them to be perfect. Websites can be simply one page. Just a one-page website is a good presence to have before you build out everything else. And it's relatively easy to set up a one-page website. So go ahead and do that before too much further down the road. You don't need the pixel until you have a website because you don't have anything to put the pixel on yet. So the pixel goes on your website. So if you don't have a website yet, get just a one-page website up. Create that home page and have a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your artwork, and a little bit about how you do it, and a place for people to sign up for your email list. But get that much going before you get too much further down the road. The best time to have created that was 5 years ago. The next best time is right now. Lisa says, what if you have two websites for very different things? You are, at least right now, to get started simply, Lisa, you're going to use the same pixel on both websites and have one Facebook page that is your brand page. Remember, we're personality brands or personal brands. So people are going to be looking for Lisa Atkinson. I wouldn't split it yet between Lisa Atkinson writer, Lisa Atkinson painter. I would focus on Lisa Atkinson instead. So you can have the two websites for the two different things, but you have one pixel. You can put your pixel on all kind of websites. So you'll be fine with just one pixel. So get that going. So, and I'm going to bug you about that website deal because we've been getting to that website for quite a long time. All of us need that one-page website. So, yes, this is Mary's hairy eyeball reaching out over the internet, giving you all that hairy eyeball. Get that one-pager up. Yeah, I literally had my students gave me a hairy eyeball necklace one time about 8 years ago. They found it on Etsy. Pretty ugly, but it was that look of get her done. Don't make it be perfect. It doesn't have to be. It just has to be. So it won't happen. It'll never be perfect. Websites are always under construction. There are always a new iteration. So you just have to get it done. Don't wait for perfection. Just get it done. Yay, Lisa. Awesome. Lisa says she's got her art site up. Excellent. Again, if you haven't done your website yet, I do recommend FASO because their customer support is absolutely splendid. They focus primarily on, well, entirely on visual artists. And when they focus on visual artists, it means they can answer the kind of questions that only happen to us. They know our problems. So I highly recommend using them. If you are comfortable with working with WordPress, then I recommend that. But if you don't want to deal with the tech, go with FASO. They are fantastic. And they return phone calls, unlike a lot of support people. But they'll do all of the hard, heavy lifting on setting up your pixel. And if you have a different email service provider than the one that they give you as part of the package, they'll help you set that up. So I can't say too many nice things about them. But all you need to do, go to the Events Manager, click Get Started, add in the name for the pixel and your website. That part's even optional. And click the button. Keep clicking those blue buttons until you get to the part where you copy and paste. Then put it into the header of your website. That's the pixel.